Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining. So this evening, I am talking about alopecia, specifically ccca, the type of alopecia that I was diagnosed with in October of 2022. So it has been a journey, and it was devastating when I first heard the news. It was devastating, but together with my dermatologist, we formed a plan. So with this particular type of alopecia, well, first, understand alopecia is an umbrella term for many different types of hair loss. So alopecia simply means hair loss, and there are many different kinds. And the ideal way to recover or to treat does vary depending on the type of alopecia that you have. So there isn't just one solution that handles all types of alopecia. It is best to formulate a plan and then also to get a proper diagnosis to know for sure what you have and what is going to work for you. So when I was diagnosed with the ccca, one of the first things my doctor said we needed to do if I wanted to regrow hair is to address the scar tissue. And the scar tissue is there. It could be from a variety of reasons, from hairstyling practices to inflammation throughout the body, to some type of trauma that may have happened to that particular area of the scalp. So it could be for a range of reasons. And one of the things that you don't know is whether or not you're capable of regrowing hair. But to know if you can, you have to get rid of the scar tissue because the hair cannot grow up through the scalp with the presence of scar tissue blocking its access out, blocking the follicle and not allowing the hair to come through. And so the injections that I did were a combination of lidocaine, which is just a pain medicine, with a steroid. And the entire intent is to break up the scar tissue. So this went for 6 months, once a month for 6 months, and then you wait 3 months and then come back in for another visit. And you look to see if there is hair pushing through the scalp, and I had hair coming through, so we were thrilled. So that is one hurdle right there. I'm capable of regrowing hair where I have the alopecia. And so now we need to take care and foster that hair. So then the next thing that we added at that point was to start doing treatments with Rogaine. And they wanted me to use 5% Rogaine. I started with the foam, and this is over the counter. So it can just be purchased from Target, a number of places. I found the foam kind of frustrating because the foam continues foaming. And you're really supposed to put the Rogaine on your scalp, but with the foam and its action, it would wind up on my hair and it leaves your hair sticky, and that's really not where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be on your scalp. So after a few months, I did transition to the serum that was relatively new on the market. It hadn't been there all along. And the serum has a dropper bottle, so it's much easier to lay the serum right into the spot where you're having the alopecia. And that's what's key. So you lay the serum, you massage it into the scalp. And so you're doing this treatment really twice daily. So after doing that, probably for about a month, I started encountering itching, really, really crazy itching right at this spot because the Rogaine is staying on your scalp. So it's not like you treat and then you shampoo your hair. So it's not something like that. You're treating and you're leaving it on your scalp. And so I was experiencing a lot of itching. So then I stopped the Rogaine and transitioned to oral minoxidil. And so I've been doing this for about a month. And so it's yet to be seen. Really, you want to get to 3 months before you make a decision on how the minoxidil is affecting you. And so we have yet to experience that. But what I also did is started taking Nutrafol Women's Balance. And so this particular supplement is targeting women in the perimenopausal and postmenopausal years, addressing these specific changes in the body that are occurring at that particular point in time. And so Nutrafol reduces the shedding and promotes new growth, and it strengthens the quality of the new hair that is coming in. And it's designed to target the 6 key causes of thinning in the menopause arena. And so that's hormone, stress, lifestyle, metabolism, nutrition, and aging. So again, You also, as you're going through menopause, growth in general does slow down. And so anything that you can do to counter that is going to be effective. Now, this is, and then I also want to speak to you about some of the other items that individuals may do to treat this particular type of alopecia. Um, Understand that some of the additional things are like vitamins and supplements. It can also be things that you may do differently in your diet itself. So Ayurvedic herbs is another popular one. I have found very good things with amla and fenugreek extracts. And so that is something that I use on my hair and scalp at least once monthly, something that I mix up. I usually use a teaspoon of both with organic sunflower seed oil. And then I stir it and I let it sit for a couple of days, but then I stir it at least once or twice a day. And so that has been very good, even just for shine on the hair, it has been very good. But I feel very confident that that is having a meaningful effect. And also there are some additional vitamins and mineral supplements that I take. So in addition to the Nutrafol, I also add in vitamins C and D as well, and then zinc, and then folic acid are some of the additional things that I'm doing. And so I think that this overall approach has been good for me. Now, and then going back a minute to the minoxidil. Minoxidil works a little bit differently than Nutrafol. So it works by prolonging the growth phase of your hair and shortening the shedding phase. So its purpose is to keep you in the growth phase for as long as possible and have you going through the shedding phase for as brief as possible. And with the hope that you will ultimately wind up with more hair on your head. And I know there are so many that may get frustrated. They're taking the Nutrafol. Nutrafol does encourage you to get to at least 3 to 6 months before you make a decision as to its effectiveness. And not everyone does get there, but it is, I believe, is where you really need to. And here's why I say this. One of the things that I do every wash day is I accumulate all of my shed hair and I use a trap in my shower and my detangling comb, detangling brush, and then all the hair that I've caught in that trap. And I take a picture of it with my cell phone. So I have a factual and time-stamped and date-stamped record of how much shed hair I had. And I don't compare it from one wash day to the next wash day or 1 week to the next week. Usually what I'm doing is from 1 month to the next month or 1 quarter to the next quarter. And what I found after being on the Nutrafol for right at 3 months, the volume of my shed hair was cut in half. And I have the pictures to show it, to prove it, to even to myself, because sometimes it becomes emotional where you're not quite sure if this is the same, you're just not quite sure. And by taking a picture of it, it's factual. It's right there in front of me where I can see the hair. And so when I had gotten to that 3-month point after being on Nutrafol, I thought that I had actually left some hair in the shower trap. So I'm back in the tub getting the shower trap and it's not there because I emptied it. And it's like, wow, this is the shed hair for this time period. And then I'm looking back at my calendar from when I marked that I was starting the Nutrafol, and this was indeed 3 months, really. 3 months in, my shed hair was cut in half. So I was thrilled with that response as well. So on top of, okay, we eliminate the scar tissue, I can grow hair. And now that I know that I can grow hair, now I know I can reduce my shedding hair. And so then I can have a much better time as far as recovering. But if you have a different type of alopecia, like traction alopecia, but if you don't change the type of hairstyles that you're doing, because understand traction alopecia, as an example, means that there's tightness being pulled onto the scalp and onto the roots of the hair into the follicles. And so if you don't do something differently with the type of hairstyles you're wearing, that alopecia will more than likely continue, even though you may take Nutrafol or you may be doing different types of things to help recover, vitamin, mineral supplements. Maybe even you changed your diet, but if it's traction alopecia and you're still wearing tight styles, that particular type of alopecia will continue. So that is why I say it is important to have a diagnosis from a dermatologist so that you know exactly what you have, and then to create your plan as to how you're going to recover from it. And so that is key. So yes, there are different types of alopecia, but they're all just an umbrella term for hair loss. And then for the best response, you need to know the specific type of alopecia you have or the specific type of hair loss you're experiencing then, and then to develop your plan from that point. So again, what has worked for me, first we did the injections with the steroid and the pain reliever rather, and then the minoxidil was added in, and then as a topical first, and then switching to an oral to see what this impact is, and trying to get to 3 months and then make an assessment for me there. But I definitely have more hair on my head in this crown area than what I did before. And so I am thrilled with that. So again, if there's some other aspect of this journey that you would like for me to share with you, please don't hesitate to drop some comments below. I will definitely come back in and do some additional videos or answer some additional questions that you may have to distinguish and get you through this journey, because I know how impactful it was for me when I heard that term, ccca. I remembered how it felt. And so I'm here with you and I'm here for you. So we can get through this. And there is definitely some room for you to learn to understand of what you may be able to do differently to change the course of your alopecia. Talk soon. Oh, and be sure to subscribe to the channel, especially if you're liking what's happening here. And again, don't hesitate to follow up with questions that you may have.